one day, my wife comes down and says, Jim, get off your fat ass and do something. So I went to Circuit City and I bought a 3 megapixel digital camera for $850. That's how long ago this was? Long time ago, right? So I was using film before, but I was never disciplined enough to write down my settings to figure out when I looked at the pictures and they were bad, what was wrong with them, just technically. So with the digital, it was all built in and I could do that, so the learning curve for me was less. So I found out I like to do this. I like to take pictures of rocks because rocks don't move. But the best rocks are always away from the highway. So my wife and I took up hiking and we lost 40 pounds. Did a lot of good hiking. We've been trying to have kids for 10 years but figured she was immune. But took up hiking, got a bed and breakfast at some place in small town Colorado. They had a hot tub outdoor, a bottle of champagne. We hiked, took pictures, hit the hot tub, and I have a 14-year-old son now because of that. She wasn't immune, so that was photography. So as he's growing, he became my subject. And that's what I learned on, was kids. My first DSLR was a Canon D60. That tells you how long ago it was. It's $2,400. It was their first 6 megapixel. They had a D30 before that. And then from the D60, it went to the 10D, the 20D, 40D, 50D, 5D, 1D Mark IIN, 1D Mark III, 1DS Mark II. You name it, I've had it pretty much. I've had it in my hands in it. When my first daughter was born, that's what got started. But unfortunately, I wasn't disciplined enough to figure out why the pictures weren't as good as I saw them in my head. But that's where it started. And then digital enabled me to take off. So without digital, I wouldn't be doing it. It just makes it so much easier for me, for my style. You always hear this stuff about, oh, you're doing it wrong. No, the answer is, there's no right or wrong way. You just have to figure out what it is you want to do, what that image needs to look like, and how do you do to get it there. Just because I may not like it does not mean it's good. It just means I don't. That's just me. Have you ever heard of a think tank? My bag is called a gas tank because I have a little car and it's just packed with stuff because you just never know what you're going to need. So I have this big ass bag, but it is just packed with stuff. I have more stuff in my car, in my gas tank bag. I want to be able to have what I need to get that vision. My biggest thing is the right tool for the job and to do it the way that I like it to look, but that may be not the way you like it. So there's no right or wrong way. It's your vision, just make it happen. I do weddings. You spend the day at a celebration, you have people smiling, you get to take lots of pictures, just whatever. You got landscape, you got macro, you got portraits, you got candids, and at the end of the day, you get cake. Best job in the world. Where a coworker says, my daughter's getting married, and Jim, it's either you or nobody. They guilted me into it, so I did it, and it was okay. There were a couple of images I just loved, and it was like, oh, I thought I was prepared, and I found out I wasn't. But they liked the images. Another coworker said, Jim, would you do it for me? I said, oh, okay. And they turned out better. And then my babysitter, because we had the little son, remember him? She said, would you do them for me? I said, well, okay, because, you know, we don't have a lot of money. All right. So I did that, and then some coworker's wife showed those pictures to some people in Adrian, Missouri. And they said, Jim, would you come down to Adrian? So I started charging more. And for 1 year, I must have done like 10 weddings in Adrian, Missouri. If there was a wedding there, I was doing it. Why? I don't know. They liked me. But that's what got me started. Last year, I did 52. The year before that was 45. I've been doing it for about 9 years. My biggest thing on that is I don't charge enough. It's all about pricing, and I'm too cheap. But I'm okay with it because I get cake at the end of the day. I used to have a real job. I got laid off a couple years ago, and my wife said there's no need for me to go back and get another one. Just to continue doing this, make my bills, because I'm close to being in that retirement age. So I haven't had to dip into my savings. I've been okay with what I've been doing. So I was a project manager in telecom for like 33 years. Doing 52 weddings in a year means you have some Friday, Saturday, Sundays. So I may have to work Friday, Saturday, Sundays, and the rest of the time is sitting in front of the computer working on images. Right? So my real job is working on wedding pictures. Photographer, not so much. Image processor, yes, that's what I do. When I look at gear, I have to look at things that allow me to work the way that I work. So if I'm shooting wedding, I need to be able to run and gun it. So I want to have the best possible tool to be able to do that. So things like speed lights. Say the stand, for example, using the cheetah stand. It's an auto stand, so what that means is I can move it real quick. I don't have to mess with the bottom. Everything's geared to speed. Speed light, so I've got this ready to go all the time. This is in the back of my car all the time, ready to go. I've already got my gel on it. I can use either a speed light or use the controller to do that. Now, I use for a strobe, I'm going to use the Andra 500. Why is that? Battery powered, fits in here, I can move it. It'll fit on my bag. I can carry it in. I'll carry another speed light in here that works off the same trigger system if I need to have a hair light, so it's ready to go. But it's all about being able to move quickly, because you don't know how much time you're going to have, and typically you don't have very much time. I like, if I'm doing group shots outdoors, I want to use ETTL if I can, simply because they won't stay in the same spot. I buy things, I try it, if I don't like it, doesn't work for me, I sell it. So I pretty much, something new comes out, I don't need it unless somebody's telling me and I get a chance to try it. How do I say this? I pretty much accumulated what I use by trial and error. I try it, it works for me or it doesn't work for me. For example, everybody raves about these Sigma art lenses. I've got a couple. I bought them just because people raved about it. The problem is I bought one that does not autofocus. I can't use it because it doesn't autofocus for me. I'm using it at reception. It's too unreliable. Really, you start off a lot of times as a hobby, and then you say, how can I make money at my hobby? And when you consider and you can make enough money at your hobby to make it your life, that's great. You see these guys that are like the rock climbers, and they take these wonderful images. They found a way to take a passion and an interest and make a life out of it. You got to keep trying things to make it fun. You're doing the same old thing all the time. It's a fractal filter, so when you look through here, it's just basically taking a prism, and you can use it for the light coming in. You can do it for all sorts of different things. A lot of different things. So you shoot on the edge. A lot of people will take a piece of glass. They'll take some other type of prism in front of the lens. This is just making it easier. Somebody had an idea to make it easier, put them on some knuckles. When I'm shooting groups at a wedding, when I'm doing my test shots, get a bridesmaid to hold this. The software that comes with this, it knows what these colors are, so you just crop in and it says this is the RGB value for each one of these, creates a profile. For that lighting situation, creates a profile for colors. And so that then when you go in, because they're all the same lighting, right? You just take that profile and you apply it to each one of those images, just and you will see reds, blues, oranges, they just pop. You can see the big difference.
Really?
Yes, oh yeah, big time, yeah. Yeah, and this is like 80 bucks. I do stuff for a lady that makes her own design that sells them on the internet, right? So you want the very bright colors, so the image, the colors have to be representative, right? At least from my perspective.
Yeah.
Hers, you can't control what they're looking at it on and what that does to the color.
Right.
But at least my colors will be fairly true. That's what I do for white balance. What happens with this?
Shoot straight through.
Yeah, it's just, there's a diffusion panel in here, for one, but it's okay. But the reason a lot of people use the Beauty Dish outdoors is because of getting locked in the wind, right? So this, these things are falling over with the flash in it. They're just a metal rod in here, and most of them will give you an extra one. I haven't had any issues. I'd like to shoot like a 24 f1.4, but I can't get the distance. Right, I can't get right up on the face. I got to be in the corner because the thing is just packed. What are you going to do? So it all goes back to the right tool for the job. So I do f4 in the studio. Why? Because I don't need f2.8 in the studio, and this thing's so much lighter. But for what I do, that I get paid to do, I got to have f2.8. I get paid to be on location. I get paid to be in these dark venues. I got to have that tool. Even though it's dark, if you're shooting wide because of that depth of field, right, and that shutter speed reciprocal, you can still shoot 24 at 15th of a second if you hold it right, just on how you release the shutter.
Right.
But if you got to be up close, you know, anytime you throw a telephoto in there, you're more prone to this. It's going to magnify any shake, right? And that makes a difference too. You'll come into a place and you say, oh, there's plenty of light. Well, there's a difference between quality of light and quantity of light. You may have enough light to do this, but the light on the subject's sucking, right? So that's when you have to use flash. Use flash whenever you need to augment the quantity or add quality to the light. So it may be bright, but if I'm shooting right here and I'm taking your picture, I don't like the way the light's hitting you, I gotta bring in flash if I've gotta use that spot right there. And I get that from clients all the time. Oh, it's bright in there. Yeah, you're bright, you're right here, you got the candlelight coming straight down here, you're really bright right here, your nose is really bright, but I can't freaking see your eyes. Yeah. So yeah, I gotta use flash. Well, I'm not gonna give you 30 minutes to set up your lights for groups. You want pictures or not?
Right.
And I get that all the time. It's like, what do you mean you gotta set up lights? There's plenty of light in there. No, the light sucks. Take a look. Take your phone and take that picture and you see what I'm talking about.
The more and more brides I talk to just want to have the film, and I tend to think it gives more representation of what the day was like versus photography. You're always going to have photos, right? But video just seems to be the way it's going with. Plus, it's just an add-on, right? I mean, you
get a drone.
You double up your money. I do drone stuff too. I mean, we bring it in for a separate shop.
I just bought one of those. What do you call it? I can't remember the name of it. The handheld ones. They're like you put a little GPS on your wrist.
Oh, really?
It follows you around.
If you have a wider choice of focus points that are accurate, right? Flip it up. I can put the one I want over your eye. I don't have to focus recompose, which is you can't do it F1.2, F1.8. You can't. It doesn't work, right? I mean, it might for some people, but not for me. When you can use the focus point that you need, then in your post-processing, you're not having to go to each picture and crop out what you don't want. You don't have to.
I think that's...
You shoot 3,500 pictures. If you do 800 today, that's still a lot of extra work. But the reliability, right? Because the center point's the main one, you're going to use it all the time, what was the point, right? When I bought the 5D Mark III, I had it for a month and I bought my second one.
Okay.
Because there was no way I couldn't not have it for what I do. But let's just
I've never used one, so I don't know.
well, we're talking about Fashion Week, right? You're going to have, I'm assuming, during the runway shots, you've got it on AI Servo?
Yes.
So I will tell you that the AI Servo on this one is a lot better than the one on the 6D. Then that's where the extra focus points come in handy, right? Because now if you're doing the chest, you're lying with it walking towards you, depth of field is further away, but you can actually pick one out that's sensitive, put it on the face, they come towards you, it works. You want to have light hitting the sensor, that's why an f2.8 lens works better, why it focuses faster, like for sports and stuff, because more light's getting in. Right? And then by being able to move the focus point to something with contrast. I mean, I've seen some of these outfits are just the same color.
Yeah.
And there's nothing for that, no contrast, especially if camera to focus.
All white or something.
If you ever pick up a 1DX, you're done. You're toast. You'll never want to go back to the 6D. So I never picked one up. I did it one time, that was enough. So no. Just the whole thing, the camera body, the way it works, the way it focuses.
Well, you get what you pay for.
Well, you hope you do.
Yeah.
I can show you some lenses that you don't, but that's another story. When I change lenses, if I have a 28 to 300 on there, it goes from a 3.5 to an f5.6. I will lose a whole bunch of autofocus points.
Right.
Because I tell it, if it's not that sensitive, I don't want to be able to use it. So they just eliminate it. Right? But what that does is it gives me better control over what I'm shooting, where I want it to focus on. I don't have to focus and recompose. I can change that fairly quickly, right? But if I'm shooting here and I focus on you and I go like this, right? Because that's where my focus point was. If that depth of field can change because it's between the sensor and the subject, and just by moving it a little bit, it'll change that. So focus points make a big difference.